So I want to spend time to go in depth about the joining, especially with the left join and right joins. Inner join has no less impact, especially when you have more than one condition. So in SSMS, if you look at my windows, I have extra small session open like this, and I have another session open like this. You can actually click and drag this out like this, Vijaya. Okay, and the purpose of doing this, so we can compare the data from product tables, customers, and then the invoice table. So I have three tables that I'm using for this example to understand about the left join and right join. Okay, so this session right here, I have two sets, one from products table and one from customers table. So you can take a look. From the products table, I have 10 records right here, and I have all the list all the product codes and then the product name. Okay, this is from the products table. The second set is coming from the customers table. I have the first name, last name, middle name, member ID, and last four social security numbers right here. And then the other table, which is the invoice table, I have, let's see, customer ID, Mr. R. So I have 10 records. I have the invoice numbers, product code, and customer ID. So let's, for example, my main source here, let's say we are doing the ad hoc report from the invoice. We want to see what product and what customer that has the invoice. Okay, so the first thing that we drive in, the from is like our main heart of the query, the source from. Okay, so in this example, the invoice table is my main heart table that I start driving in, and I have so we have we've seen the output of the invoice table, correct? 10 records. Then I do a left join here with my products table. The joining key is to tie the product code from the invoice table with the product code from the products table. That is the joining key. Okay, you got this part, right? Okay, so if so this is my first condition right here. So the invoice table has the 10 records right here. So if I join my invoice table with the products table using the product code key, if I execute this, I'm getting 10 records because I have in my invoice table I have 10 records. Okay, with 10 record of the product codes right here. Some product codes has different customer ID, but the total record is 10. So when I do left join, right, the left join, if you take a look this picture right here, the left join is we're taking everything from the left side. The table A is our invoice table. The table B is the product table, like this example. So the left join, we are taking everything here. If the table B or the table products match the product ID, like the table A or the invoice table, we want to bring them. Okay, so in this example, the product table right here. So let's see, product, we have 56, 58, 58, 80, 45, 45. Okay, so all of this will be included in that joining. Okay, so all from the record number 5 and 10 will not be included because we do a left join. You see, none of the product name lists all this name right here. Correct? Okay, so another scenario, if you have the second condition, let's say you want to make sure all of this here, you want to make sure you just want to display any product name that has the word ball. Okay, so then for example, let's say you want to have that second condition where the product name, which is this column, like ball right here. So this is the wildcard. When you do light, this percents represent anything before B or anything after L. We want to take it. We want to consider this as our filter. So if I run this, let's take a look first. The product name, we don't have anything that associate with ball, so this will not include it if we add this filter. Okay, we will have this guy right here. We will have this because the ball. We have this. We will not have this. We will have this, 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 and this. So if I execute this query, then I will have 8 records because we're going to exclude this 2 because the product name doesn't contain anything that associated with ball. Okay, so if let's prove it. Actually, it's not 8 records because this is the left join, and you have the second condition. You will not display the no value right here. Okay, see the second condition because the left join. The left join, again, we are taking everything from the left side. The left side is the invoice table and we have 10 records. So we will still have 10 records, but the product name will be null. However, if you move this second condition to the where clause, then we will have 8 records because when SQL see the second condition from what? You see this PRD is the alias of this. Okay, so keep in mind your second condition PRD is coming from the joining of the left join. If you add that second condition on your where clause, this is not longer left join, but SQL will take this as the inner join. Let's prove it. So with the inner join, we will have 8 records. So if I execute this query, you see I have 8 records. You see the difference between adding the second condition after the first condition within the joining and adding the second condition on your where clause right here. So that's why when you do a QA, if you see this left join, check that alias and check on the where clause. If you see that second condition of this left joining table listed on the where clause, then we want to go back and ask the developer like, hey, are you doing the inner join or left join? Yeah, you see the difference, right? Okay, so let's put, because we want to have this left join, right? So let's do this. Let's do inner join with this, using the same products, using the same joining key product code. The reason I'm doing inner join, I want to show you the comparison, so you understand about the left join, correct? If I do left join, that means inner join. Sorry. If I do the inner join, this is the invoice table, and this is the products table. The inner join will take if the product codes and between the invoice table and the product table match, then that will be our output. Okay, so if I execute this, I will have 10 records because my main table, the invoice, I have 10 records right here, right? 10 different customer list the product codes right here. This record will join to the products table right here. So to get that product name, that's why we have 10 records. Does that make sense? Even in the product table, we have 10 records right here, but the record 5 and 10, they are not listed in the product code. Only record 1 to 4, but joining this, the purpose of joining this table to get the product name field. You see the PRD alias, we only have that on the select statement. We just want to list the product name. Yeah, the purpose of this inner join, because inside the invoice table, we don't have the product name. We have the product code, and the business said, I would like to see the product name. How do we get that product name? We are getting from the product codes right here, product tables. Sorry. So we are getting this product name field from the products table. So to do that, we have to do a joining. Earlier, we learned about left join. Inner join, here I just want to show you the comparison. So the joining using the product code right here. We still have 10 records right here. The reason is, take a look at the invoice table. We have 10 records, correct? So out of these 10 records, we have distinct customer ID. These customers have the product code listed right here. The question is, what are those product codes named? They are here. Where this product name coming from? From the products table right here. So when you do inner join or left join, this product code is the matching key to here to get that product name right here. That's why we have 10 records, because the invoice table has 10 records. This is the first condition. Makes sense, right? Yeah. Earlier we learned about left join. Um, okay, let's take a look. Let's say you have second condition. You put it right here. You want to make sure that the product names like a ball, right? If we execute this, we have 8 records. If you move that second condition on the where clause, let's execute this, you have 8 records. So with the inner join, you have no problem if you want to list your second condition after the on joining or on the where clause. You get it? So this guy right here, you might ask question, why do we need to join this products table? Yes, because in the products table, that's how the product names field that we need to create this report, right? So if we don't have this product code, let's say we don't do the joining from the products table, we just have this, then we only have product codes, but the customer say, I need to see what is the product name. If the product code is FC456, that's why we do joining here to get the product name. Then whether left join or inner join, that be part of the requirement, depending on if the business said, I don't care, I want all the records from the invoice, whether they have a product or not, but I want to see the product names. If the invoice listed the product codes in the products table, I want to see the name. If the product codes in the invoice here is not listed in the products table, I still want to list them. Then you do the left join, because this is the main source. Like, because the business, for example, said, I want all records in the invoice table, whether they have products codes or not in the products table. I want to list all of them, and I want to list the product name. Then you do the left join. But if the business said, I want all the customer that has the product, that have the products in the invoice table and also listed in the products, so then you do the inner join, because you want to match all the product codes in the invoice table to the product codes in the products table. That is the logic. But when it comes to the second logic, if the business said, however, I just want to list the product name that associate with ball, correct? So again, two condition again, depending what they want. If the business said, I want all the records from the invoice table, whether the product listed in the products table or not, with the product name like ball, then you do left join. If the business said, I want to see all the records with the product codes that match with the product codes in products table, then you do inner join. Then you add the second condition. So the difference between left and inner, if you have more than one condition, inner join, you can add that second, third condition, whether either on the on after the joining or after the where clause. But with the left join, you have to list it, after the first condition to keep the left join. Okay, so let me keep this as a left join, and then have that second condition after the joining key right here. Then let me execute this. So we have 10 records, so we have the no value, right? If you wanna get rid of the no, let's say you wanna put no product name, we learn about is no or quales, correct? We can do is no. If is no means like if the product name field no, then we wanna replace with the string no product name listed, and we alias that as a product name because we want to keep that as a product names columns. If I execute this, then this is our product name that has the is no value. So that's left join. Okay, now I have another table called customers right here. Okay, and this is the output. In the customers table, I have 15 records, distinct customers. Out of the invoice table, I have the customer as well right here, but I only have 10 customers. All of these customers listed in the customers table. Okay, so at this point, the business come back to you. They said, can you pull all the customers on this report? I want to see all the customers that has whether they have invoice or not, they have the product codes or not. I want to bring them. So you can do that. You can keep your invoice as your main query, main table. Okay, then you bring that new table, customer new table. Again, the business that I want all the member ID listed on this report. So you want all this member ID records is coming from the customer table. Okay, so we want to do right join because we want to bring everything, right? So right join, take a look this picture. Imagine this is the table A is the joining between the invoice and the products tables. Okay, the table A. The table B is our customers table. We have 15 records right here. So because the business said I want all the customers listed on the report, then you want to do right join. Okay, you want to do right join from customer table. You alias that as a I alias this as a CUS. Then I do a joining key my member ID because I have member ID which is customer ID in my invoice table. Okay, and in my customer table I have the member ID. Okay, so if I execute this, I'm getting 15 records. You see, because we are taking everything from the customers table. Customers table has 15 records. but five of them doesn't have invoice. Five of them, they don't have invoice, they don't have product codes, they don't have the product name. Okay, now why customer ID is not showing here? Because the field that I'm using is from the invoice customer ID. So what you have to do, you comment this out and you bring that field member ID from the customer table, this guy right here, right? Because COS is the alias of customers table, and you bring that field and you alias that as the customer ID, so the business will recognize that this is the customer ID. We want to keep the naming consistent. If I rerun this query, then I have this all the member ID or alias as a customer ID, 15 record, exactly like on the customer tables right here. But yeah, it's showing it as none. So, and then let's say the business said, but even I want to see all the customer or members from the customers table, but I want to make sure I only interested to see the member with the last four social security number in this criteria. Okay, so only this 3474 and 3681. So the business only interested to the customer that has these two social security, the last four digits. So you add that second condition after the on. Remember, right join and left join, right? The best practice, the correct way is to add that second condition after the joining. So if I execute this, I have the 15 records. Do you know why? Because again, I'm doing the right join, correct? And right join is actually 15 records. This is table B. Yes. Right? No, this is already correct. So the right join is the enhancement, like the business want you to bring all the member, all the customer. That's why you do the right join from this customers table. This is the joining key, but the business only interested to see the customer with the last social security of listed in here. So we're supposed to see two records, correct? But we ended up having 15 records because the right join is taking everything on the column B and match with the column A. The column A is the combination of invoice and the products table. Let's think about this as the column A. Think about this as the column B. So right join will take all of the records from the column B. In this example is our customers table. We have 15 records. That's why we have 15 records. However, this is the right join, right? If you add this second condition on your where clause, right? If you add that second condition on your where clause, if I execute this, I have two records. Do you know why? Because again, left join and right join, any extra condition after the first condition, if you place it on the where clause, it turns from right to inner. Does that make sense? Okay, so we have, see the social security number 33474 listed as the member, this guy right here. Okay, and the 7681 is this guy right here, which is matched with this. So that's why it's very dangerous, like if you don't pay attention when you do a left join or right join, when you have more than one condition.